Since the beginning, the Minnesota Wild had one goal: to get better every day. And when they did what was once a dream could become a reality. Tonight, their first opportunity with destiny, a win, and playoff hockey returns to Minnesota. Now welcome into the sold-out XL Energy Center. Those of you who have been enjoying the Women's Collegiate National Championship game, we will head back to Duluth for the second overtime between Minnesota, Duluth, and Harvard. How about the start here? For the Minnesota Wild, 2 points earned tonight, and they are in the postseason officially for the first time in franchise history. And Minnesota leads early by a score of 1-0. They're on the power play right here, as Brendan Shanahan is in the box for roughing. Manny Legacy in the nets for Detroit. Dwayne Rollison for Minnesota. Here's Kuba the drive, and a pad saved by Legacy. Maltby will clear it to center. Fastest goal in franchise history scored here tonight. Lidstrom the drive, and the pad saved by Dwayne Rollison. Chelios, and that shot was blocked by Dupuis. Played down low by Draper. Left for Brendan Shanahan. He slipped it back to Henrik Zetterberg, and he fanned on the shot.
Smart play by Dupuis, giving his stick to Zuzan, who had lost his.
Zetterberg, a true candidate for the Calder Trophy as the league's top rookie. He, Brett Hall, and Pavel Datsyuk have been the best line in the NHL the last 20 games. Here's Brett Hall. Hall gets it across, poked away by Park. Played across the line, Zetterberg. And Park will take it. Against the Detroit Red Wings on January 5th of 2001 in year one, Jeff Nielsen scored 26 seconds into the game. It was in this building. Detroit's in this building again in a pivotal matchup here tonight. Datsyuk leaves it for Hall. Back to Henrik Zetterberg. Detroit, the one thing we do know, they will not panic. They are an extremely disciplined and talented team. Here's Dupuis across the line. Dupuis waits, leads for Bouchard, and the save made by Legacy. Moved ahead towards Hall and skated down by Lubomir Sekerac.
A lot of great speed on that line. Dupuis had Gabrick on the other wing, but he made the little drop pass and a good shot by Bouchard, but Legacy came up big there.
Mike Luke Robitaille's minutes are way down. He's averaging only a little under 13 minutes a night. Yet when he's on the ice, he obviously can be very effective.
That's a scary thing about this Detroit team. They are one of the, well, maybe the best team depth-wise. They can roll all four lines and scare you with every one of them.
Jason Williams just called up from Grand Rapids. He's in the lineup tonight. A big hit by Brad Brown and a penalty against the Minnesota Wild. Lidstrom, the shot into traffic. Williams tried to jump on it. And Detroit is going to have the power play for the first time. But how about this, Mike? Franchise history. Minnesota scores just 21 seconds into the game.
How fitting of a game to do that in, too, Mike. Very important here for the Wild. Good pinch there by Willie Mitchell. Good forecheck. It creates a loose puck in front. And the Moose is loose, as you said, and he jams it in. And then Brad Brown right now in the box.
Interference to call, and here it is.
I thought it was a pretty good hit, but maybe a little late. I don't know. That was a pretty good hit, I thought. Got him up high on the shoulder, but the puck may have been gone too long, and maybe it was a late hit, according to the referee, and that's why Brad Brown will serve the first minor for the Wild.
So Brown did not play the other night against the Stars. In fact, Jacques Lemaire, for the first time this season, dressed only 5 defensemen the other night. Brown is in the lineup here this evening. Bombardier still out with a back injury. Fedorov wins the draw cleanly. Igor Larionov on the near side boards. Fedorov leaves it for Larionov. Larionov, the oldest player in the National Hockey League, turned it over, and Minnesota will clear easily.
Normally Holmstrom would stand in front of the net on the power play, but right now he's standing probably somewhere in this press box because he's not in this evening.
He's got a bit of a bruised sternum. He did not play against St. Louis yesterday as well. Good job on the penalty kill so far. The Red Wings, the top-ranked power play in the National Hockey League at 24%. And during this great span of games, 17 wins in their last 19 games, their power play is clicked at nearly 35%. Lidstrom is a key component with the man advantage. Brett Hall to Sergei Fedorov, the leading scorer. Steve Yzerman not playing today. He did play yesterday. Scored his first goal of the year. It was an empty net goal. Yzerman's played 10 games since returning from the knee surgery. Fedorov over towards Datsuk and spun back out. Not a single shot on net yet by Detroit with this power play opportunity.
Great puck pursuit by the Wild. They're forcing them all the way from the neutral zone all the way down into their end.
Still trouble gaining the zone. Fedorov. Matthew Schneider playing about 22 minutes a night since coming over from Los Angeles. Many consider him the second best defenseman. There's a big hit by Datsuk on Willie Mitchell. Across to Sergei Fedorov. Fedorov spinning and leaves it to Datsuk. Datsuk has it on the near side boards. Datsuk down low to Henrik Zetterberg. Back to Pavel Datsuk. Datsuk waits across to Schneider. Here's Hall. And Rolison will glove. Let's check in with Clay Matvick.
All right, guys, thanks very much. You know, I had a nice conversation with Willie Mitchell today. You'll remember back in December he missed 8 games with a concussion after taking a hard hit from Sergei Fedorov. Fedorov told Marian Gaborik at the All-Star game in Florida to apologize to Mitchell for that hit. But with that said, Mitchell told me today if he gets a chance to lay a clean hit on Sergei tonight, he's going to do it.
Well, Willie Mitchell excels at the big physical part of the game. He missed 8 games after that hit that Clay alluded to back in December.
Big physical part, but with one more point would have a career high in points this year, so he's doing it everywhere on the ice.
Well, it's nice to see, there's no question. Chris Chelios works it down low. Darren McCarty, one shot for the Wings on that power play opportunity. Draper leaves it behind. Maltby can't keep it in the zone, neither can Darren McCarty. The grind line reunited here for Detroit. Kirk Maltby, Chris Draper, and Darren McCarty. Both have, or I should say all three, have put up some pretty strong numbers offensively this year. Minnesota scores just 21 seconds into the game. We will head back to Duluth for the second overtime period of the Women's Collegiate National Championship game between Minnesota Duluth and the Crimson of Harvard. Jennifer Botterill winning the Patty Kazmaier yesterday, trying to make it a perfect weekend for her women's hockey career. Of course, her brother played at the University of Michigan, so I bet she's going to keep an eye on the Red Wings in the playoffs. Fedorov has it, holds and gives it across. So we'll go back to Duluth in a bit. Mike Goldberg, Mike Greenley, Clay Matvick, Fox Sports Net. Minnesota can clinch their first ever appearance in the postseason with a win here tonight. Waiting inside the zone is Andre Zuzin, and Zuzin gets it across to Schultz. What a start for Minnesota, Mike, on a return of about 9 days to the XL Energy Center. Kept in by Larionov. Larionov across Shanahan, and the puck didn't have much on it. Nice to be home, and the Wild will have a handful of home games here to finish the regular season.
Well, I think the Wild realized the importance of getting off to a fast start, but you remember their first loss of the year came after a 2-0 lead against this very same team, so I think they have that in the back of their minds as well.
And if I have the correct vision, Brendan Shanahan had a similar face in the penalty box in the early part of the overtime period.
Well, he changes the kind of game that you're playing. He turns it into a very physical game, very fast, and that can throw some teams off. Hopefully the Wild have matured this year in that department.
He's a spirited Irishman is what he is.
Well, St. Patty's Day just came and went, so.
Well, I'll tell you what, prior to St. Patty's Day, this team has been outstanding. The Red Wings are playing excellent hockey right now. They have the best record in the Western Conference. And a chance to make it past Ottawa as well for the President's Trophy. Williams throws it in front. And the puck will trickle aside. Matthew Danino stepped in. Williams, a big drive. And the save made by Rolison. Brown comes into the face of Luc Robitaille. Messages being sent, although nothing is certain yet. I think we can assume the P word will be used here in Minnesota.
Brad Brown is out there to be physical, and he was. He got physical with Robitaille in front of the net, and they both will go off for 2 minutes. So some open ice here, Mike, and the Minnesota Wild usually fare pretty good in this situation, but they're against a pretty tough 4-on-4 team.
Yeah, a little bit of talent out there. Danino with great wheels. Datsuk, Nicholas Lidstrom. Quite the candidate for a third consecutive Norris Trophy as the top defenseman in the league. Al McGinnis is probably going to get great consideration. He's had a wonderful year in St. Louis. Lead pass ahead to Datsuk. Datsuk and Zetterberg, the two youngsters on the ice to begin this 4-on-4. And if there's a difference between this Red Wing team of a year ago, it is the infusion of youth. And Zetterberg and Datsuk have been good. Penalty on Hendrickson. and it's a tripping call. Terry Gregson makes the call. Another wing power play when we come back.
Here it is, boys, the Boston Bruins.
Hey, is this about your tryout?
What else?
Read it.
Dear Raymond. Ooh. In regard to your repeated inquiries about a tryout with the Boston Bruins Hockey Club,
Right on.
please refrain from making any further contact with the organization or we will be forced to pursue legal action.
Hey, look at the bright side. Yeah, the bright side.
Fedorov did. He looked him off. Watch Fedorov. He's looking back door. He sees Rolison move just a bit. Tries to sneak it in the glove side, but you know, Rolison, he's played so solid this year, and he makes another solid save.
For our viewers at High Def TV, we'll stay with you. For those on Fox Sports Net, we will head to the deck in just a moment. Second overtime of the national championship game. They're tied at 3. Minnesota Duluth, then Harvard. Remax power play numbers. This is the second power play of the night for the Detroit Red Wings. 9 minutes, now under 9 remains in the first. Minnesota leads 1-0. Nicholas Lidstrom holds to Sergei Fedorov. Fedorov to Lidstrom. Lidstrom waits and gets it to Brett Hall. Here's Lidstrom. Big drive, save, rebound, cleared aside by Kuba. Walls tries to get it out, and it's kept out of the zone. Given over to the near side, and Sergei Fedorov. Mike and I will be with you all night from here at the XL Energy Center as the Wild try to clinch a trip to the playoffs. But for now, we head back to the deck for the second overtime of the Women's National Championship. Second overtime, congratulations, as Minnesota Duluth has defended their collegiate national championship. Score remains 1-0 here at the XL Energy Center on Matt Johnson's third goal of the year, just 21 seconds into the contest. Wings have had 2 power plays, the Wild have had 1, and the action has been good so far. So Nora Tallis scores for Duluth. They win the national championship of women's college hockey again. Congratulations to that great institution just a few hours up north.
Well, if you want to know what winning championship in overtime is like, you can ask a few players. You can ask Jim Dowd. He did it in 1988, and it's pandemonium. It's a great feeling.
Dowd doing it at Lake Superior State. So obviously they were keeping an eye on the Red Wings when he was up in the UP, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, in Sault Ste. Marie. Under a minute remains here in the first period. We're with you all night now. Our viewers getting a double dose of some great hockey this evening on Fox Sports Net. Draper, Dowd, pushes on Chris Draper. Flipped aside by Philippe Kuba. McCarty tries to get it in deep. Dowd is right there, and Dowd dumps it out of the zone. Wild leading 1-0. Couple of good saves by Rolison. One time robbing, and I mean robbing Brendan Shanahan. Terry Gregson wants to make the call for the forwarding of the puck with the hand. I don't know if he's going to call the delay of game or just a stoppage. Looks like just a stoppage. No, he's going to bring
a charge, I think. It looked like he was signaling a charge on someone, maybe a hit over by the boards, and it's Shanahan coming over. He's coming over to talk. I don't know if and there's Matt Johnson going to the box. So. I don't know. The guys were changing. Both teams were changing. Here's Johnson, and he runs over Draper, and he called the charge. So just a little late. Brad Brown's hit maybe a little late in the view of the referees, and Matt Johnson's hit maybe a little late and a little too vigorous.
So there's your final in double overtime. The Bulldogs win the national championship on the goal by Nora Tallis. They defeat the Crimson of Harvard, and their Patty Kazmaier Trophy Award winner, Jennifer Botterill.
Well, so far so good, and we'll leave it at that because the Red Wings have a lot left in them.
Yeah, there's no question there'll be no panic in the red jerseys, and Minnesota leads after 20. Nick Lidstrom will be Clay's guest when we continue. This is your home of the Minnesota Wild, Fox Sports Net.
Have what she wants.
Does it make you jealous?
Yes. She'll love you to death. Femme Fatale. Own it today on DVD and video.
Play action there. Look at the face-off. That's even. That's why the Wild are in this hockey game.
Just underway here in the second period. Mike Goldberg, Mike Greenlay Clay Matvick, our fine crew from Fox Sports Net. Power play for the Red Wings to begin things here in the second. Matt Johnson is in the box. A shot by Shanahan and a glove save by Dwayne Rolison. Speaking of Dwayne Rolison, officially we introduce to you our Northland Ford starting goaltender.
Well, Dwayne Rolison continues to make a strong bid to finish the season with a career best sub 2 goals against average. He hit the 20-win plateau with his win against Florida on Wednesday. Of course, Manny Legacy down at the other end has a 5-game winning streak coming into tonight. He has a 3-1 lifetime versus the Wild.
Legacy will hold and wait. 1 minute and 10 seconds remains in the Wings' third power play of the evening. Detroit during this hot streak has been brilliant with the man advantage. They have the top-ranked power play in the National Hockey League at 24%. And in the last 5 games, the Red Wings have been peeling along at 45% with the man advantage. They have 10 power play goals in their last 10 games played prior to yesterday when they added one against St. Louis. Fedorov waits and fakes. There's the shot knocked down in front by Willie Mitchell and cleared out by Marian Gaborik.
They set themselves up very good defensively.
There's Schneider, a quick shot, snap of the wrist, and Rolison with the glove again. What a lead pass from Fedorov to Schneider. That was reversal of roles, if you will.
Yes, it was. The guys got caught up and transitioned very well and came down with another blast. This time is Chelios, who's just getting out of the reach of Sekerash, but Rolison again there to make the big save.
Kept on the near side by Brett Hall. Brett Hall leaves it off for Jason Woolley. Schneider whips it around to Zetterberg. 15 seconds left in the power play. It's cleared out of the zone. Thomas Holmstrom is a scratch this evening for the Red Wings. He has 12 power play goals, as does Brendan Shanahan to lead the team. Brett Hall right behind with 11 power play goals on the year. Out of the box comes Johnson, who scored the Minnesota goal in record-setting fashion just 21 seconds into the game. 2 shots on that power play opportunity for the Detroit Red Wings. Just underway here in the second period. Neutral ice pass intercepted and pushed aside by Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Cliff Ronning left practice early this morning with a case of the flu. Ronning is not in the lineup here tonight, missing his first game of the season. So Parker scratched the other night, Mike. That was the first game that he did not play in. Now Ronning is out. So Loxton and Brunette, the only players who have played in all 74 games, now 75 games this year for Minnesota.
Well, Ronning feeling a little flu-like this morning, went back, didn't even go on the ice, and so that's a big factor in the reason he is a scratch this evening.
So Ronning is out, and Brown is back in. Brad Brown has been out of the lineup the last few games. Jason Marshall is out of the lineup tonight as well. Minnesota dressed only 5 defensemen against Dallas the other night. That meant a lot of extended minutes for every defenseman. All 5 defensemen, Mike, played over 20 minutes that night.
They had to. They had to play hard, too, because Dallas put a lot of pressure on them. Manny Fernandez played exceptional in that game, and all those defensemen did as well.
Moved ahead by Mitchell, intercepted by McCarty. He gets it to Mulpey. What a move. Mulpey on the backhand, spun around, and the shot deflected wide.
Well, Mitchell's move allowed everyone else to regain some positioning, and so Maltby really didn't get a good, clean shot.
Mitchell gives it over to Nick Schultz. The grind line on the ice for Detroit. They were a key component to the first Stanley Cup championship in 1997. Darren McCarty, Kirk Mulpey, and Chris Draper. Played by Draper. He gives it towards Luc Robitaille. Robitaille, Mike, his minutes are way down. Robitaille, though, one of the 3 600 goal scorers on this Detroit team. Yzerman and Hall are the other 2. Brett Hall with 700-plus goals in his career. Dandino, the shot deflected by Robitaille. And the save made by Dwayne Rolison. Finally cleared out by Willie Mitchell. Good pressure there by the Wings.
Well, you say his minutes are down, but a lot of these guys have had to give up certain offensive prowess to play on this team. There's a lot of talent, and they play a solid system.
Luc Robitaille, 12 minutes and 45 seconds per game. Dandino, he's been outstanding here the last month. The Wings 17-1-0-1 in their last 19 games played, earning 35 of the 38 possible points. And moving up to the top spot in the NHL. Touched by Kuba. The icing is called. Manny Legacy's in tonight. Why?
Well, he's one of the better backup goaltenders in the league. They can afford to put him in different situations. Cujo getting a bit of rest, and you'll see him likely a couple days from now.
He has won 10 of his last 11 starts, and undoubtedly there was an adjustment period for Curtis Joseph because he was very average early in the year. Here as of late, he's been as good as any.
Well, I think that win against Toronto, his old team, really helped him, and also his first win ever against Patrick Waugh also made it big for him. So a couple of big things in his mind really helped straighten him out. He's been great ever since that.
Never easy replacing the legend, and Dominik Hasek certainly was that. Trying to have a Vezina caliber year this year. Late into the running is Curtis Joseph. Manny Turco probably the front runner there. Marty Turco, pardon me. Manny Legacy in the net tonight. Turco soon to return for Dallas. Locks it in. Inside the zone with Walls and Gabrick on the checking line tonight. Locks it in. Walls trying to work through Matthew Schneider. Schneider playing with the veteran Chris Chelios, 41 years old now. Igor Larionov, the oldest player in the NHL. He is 42 years old. Larionov decorated in all levels of the game of hockey. Internationally, Olympic-wise, obviously a gold medal or two, and 3 Stanley Cups in his back pocket. Park comes through the neutral ice area and dumps it into the zone. Dmitry Bykov and Jason Woolley defensively. Zetterberg, Datsuk, and Brett Hall up front. They have been special in the last month. Hall gives it up. Shot, save made. Zetterberg was moving in on Rolison. During this hot streak of 19 games, this line for Detroit has produced 73 points. The 2 youngsters, Zetterberg and Datsuk, playing with the 700 goal scorer Brett Hall. He makes the poke check of Stevenson at the blue line. Jason Woolley picks it up. 13:44 remains here in the second period. Datsuk driving towards the net, poked out of the zone and cleared by Richard Park. Icing will be called as Bykov touches. Minnesota holding on to this 1-0 lead. Well, the P word is about to become reality, and it could become reality here tonight. Simple situation. If the Wild win, they earn 2 points. They own the tiebreak over Phoenix with 8 games left. Phoenix can't catch them, and Minnesota would officially be welcomed to the playoffs for the first time in franchise history. Sold out XL Energy Center, 119th consecutive sellout here against the Detroit Red Wings. And Steve Griggs, the Vice President of Customer Service and Ticket Sales, told you earlier tonight, we're going to see 19,000 plus in this building the rest of the days of hockey this year.
Yeah, you know what, and it's very exciting. You're talking to the different players in the locker room today. They all said it's great for our fans. It's going to be exciting. You could see the excitement in their faces, but they didn't want to let it get to them just yet.
Are you kidding me? It was 70 degrees today. You're driving with the top open, and you're coming to the rink, and you know you're not limited to 3 or 4 more home games. Park across the line. The thaw, spring cleaning, and hockey, I mean, that's what Minnesota's all about. Playoff hockey for the first time in a long time is a reality here in Minnesota. They're going to whistle it down. And you know what? Minnesota Wild players want to clinch here tonight in front of their hometown fans.
Detroit's always a big draw. There's a lot of Detroit fans outside of the state, and I think we have a lot of them here in the state of Minnesota. But to do it in our home building is something that we talked about again this morning, and we're going to try our best to try to get it done tonight.
Now, certainly it's appreciative. Since day one in that standing ovation for the preseason game, when this team was introduced to this great building and these great fans in the state of hockey in the surrounding areas, Mike.
What I love is something that you said earlier, and it rings quite true, and that is that, you know, every time at different segments of the season, whether it was in a game or a certain segment of games, there's always been that waiting for something to fall off, and it never has.
Trying to move in front was Jimmy Dowd. Out of the zone comes Mulkey with speed. Big drive, rebound, kicked aside, and cleared up and out by Andre Zuzin. He leaves it for Dowd in transition, trying to walk through Schneider and Chelios knocks Jimmy Dowd off the puck. Chelios has it. Walls gets it over towards the iron fin. Antti Laaksonen, and held behind by Schneider. Schneider gets it to Chelios. Gabrick in front. The pass from Zoltak was intended for Darby Hendrickson. There's a shot into traffic from Nick Schultz. Played on the near side boards by Zoltak. Given over to Nick Schultz. Schultz tied up on the play by Matthew Schneider. Shot, rebound, score! Sergei Zoltak beats Manny Legacy, and the Minnesota Wild lead 2-0.
Time and space, two things that can be a goaltender's enemy if the puck's on the stick of someone like Sergei Zoltak. Look at this feed. Spin around, feed it to the front of the net. The defenseman came down. A couple of nice moves by Zoltak. A head fake, an eyelash fake. He gave him everything, and he puts it on the glove side.
They are on their feet, 19,000 plus here at the XL Energy Center. 2 goals for the Minnesota Wild. And they are 31 minutes and 15 seconds away from officially being part of the National Hockey League playoffs. The only shot of the second period for Minnesota, and Sergei Zoltak blasts it behind Manny Legacy. Marian Gabrick and Nick Schultz will gain the assists on the goal, and what a pretty feed, in fact, in front from Gabrick to Zoltak, and he made no mistake.
Well, Zoltak very good with the hands. Gabrick sees the ice so well, and he's been playing so much better lately. Although he has not clicked for a lot of goals, he's starting to add some assists to his resume, and he gets 1 assist on Zoltak. Nice goal there. Had a lot of time in front of the net. Legacy really had to try and stay with them, but a couple of sweet moves there and a good hard shot, and it's 2-0.
Played by Kuba. Larionov kicks it over to Dmitry Bykov. Using the skates as well was Woolley. Sergei Fedorov towards Shanahan. Laaksonen comes right on him. Played by Sergei Fedorov. Here's Dmitry Bykov down to Larionov. Larionov waits and holds. Larionov to the point and Bykov. Bykov to Larionov. This looks a little bit like the win in Dallas on Friday night, Mike. Badly outshot, yet your goaltender stays strong, and offensively you get the timely breaks.
Well, no one wants to play against a hard-working, disciplined team, and that's what the Minnesota Wild are. And even though they give up some shots, they are going to stay to their game plan, and that's what turns some teams playing the way that they don't want to play.
Larionov has it and gives it over to Dandino. Slipped in from Schultz. The last time the state of hockey played host to an NHL playoff game was April 28th, 1992, when the North Stars lost to the Detroit Red Wings.
2-0 should be enough, but this is the Detroit Red Wings they're playing. The Wild had a 2-0 lead against the Red Wings earlier this year, and the Red Wings handed them their first loss of the season. That was way back when, but it's still the same team.
October 19th here at the XL Energy Center. Brendan Shanahan had a lot to say in that game.
The grind line was a bit of a pest.
Darren McCarty had a couple of goals as well. Treasure Island Resort and Casino trivia question for tonight's, we hope, very memorable evening here in Minnesota. Who holds the Wings and NHL record for assists in a single game? Who holds the Detroit Red Wings and NHL record for assists in a single game? It was almost tied by Peter Forsberg of the Colorado Avalanche yesterday, as the Avs are solidly in the playoffs. They may open up on the road, but I'll tell you what, if the Avs finish 5th, you don't want to finish 4th. Dowd across the line, and he dumps it in. Of course, as you said, Mike, I don't think anybody's excited about the prospect of playing against the Wild. Johnson fed it out towards Dowd. Johnson got it started in record-setting fashion, scoring 26 seconds into the game. The previously fastest goal, 21 seconds into the game. The previous fastest goal in Wild history was scored by Jeff Nielsen here at the X in January of 2001 against the Wings, 26 seconds into the contest. Draper waits and holds. Draper to Dmitry Bykov, the shot into traffic. Rebound in front. Played by Jason Woolley. McCarty in the fray. Puck is still free. And Johnson will clear it out. Brown and McCarty continue to battle for position in front. And we may see a penalty called against Brad Brown here.
Well, you know, that's the trench. That's where everyone's going to be fighting it out in front of the net there. And Brown has been very physical in this game. Look at this shot. I think that hit a piece of Brown and then Rolison. Rolison does a good job of scrambling around the net, but they keep tossing that puck out front, and Brown drags someone down. So we'll see that #1 power play in the National Hockey League again from the Detroit Red Wings.
Well, you certainly don't want to continue to give this team chances. Dave Lewis, what a masterful job he has done in replacing the Hall of Famer Scotty Bowman. And during the slumping January for Detroit, there were a lot of Dave Lewis bashers out there, but he stayed true to form the same way he did as a tough-nosed defenseman all those years in the NHL, and he's got this team running on, no pun intended, all cylinders in the Motor City.
Well, I tell you, it was brilliant to bring in a guy, or not bring him in, but to sustain someone from the organization like that to coach his team, because they know these players, and these guys need to be handled differently than some other teams.
Well, as Dave Lewis told me earlier in the year, Mike, this team is self-policed. He leaves it to the leaders, and he truly will just take the screwdriver and turn a screw that quarter of a millimeter at times. But for the most part, you just want to keep them having fun, keep them loose. And when things don't go so well, then you let them do what they need to do within the room. And don't think that the return of Steve Yzerman to the lineup hasn't corresponded directly with the Wings playing their best hockey of the year. Lidstrom gives it ahead to Larionov. 2 shots on the last power play for Hull and company. Kept in at the blue line by Sergei Fedorov. Shot by Lidstrom was just wide. Robitaille in front of the net. Hull with 11 power play goals. Shanahan with 12. As we mentioned, Thomas Holmstrom with 12 as well. He is not in the game here tonight. To the point, and Fedorov. He leaves it off to Larionov. Larionov holds on the far side board, slips it down towards Lidstrom, and he couldn't get a shot on goal. Played by Hull. Here's Sergei Fedorov. Fedorov, big drive, and that was wide again. Robitaille was right in front of the net. One-timer attempted by Robitaille and cleared out by Minnesota.
Robitaille had a swing at it, but someone was right next to him and cleared it out.
Robitaille gets it across. Darren McCarty. He's hit on the play by Willie Mitchell. Kuba can't clear. Lidstrom has it. Lidstrom sends it down towards net. Lidstrom and Woolley on the points. McCarty, Robitaille, and Larionov up front. Brown is out of the box. No shots on the power play that time for Detroit. They're 0 for 4 with the man advantage. They've outshot the Wild 18-9, but yet Minnesota leads 2-0. Minnesota scoring on their first shot of the game and their first shot and only shot of the second period. Woolley has it. And it's played by Dmitry Bykov. Now 2 shots here in this second period. Woolley towards the net. Volpe, rebound by Darren McCarty. And it deflects aside. Draper finishes his hit on Willie Mitchell. And they're going to continue to have a discussion. These 2 teams may meet in the playoffs in a couple of weeks. Matt Johnson, Sergei Zholtok, the goal scorers. Minnesota leads Detroit by a score of 2-0. These 2 teams will meet again Tuesday night at Joe Louis Arena. Situation is simple. Minnesota wins and they are officially in. Chelios, a big shot. Wheels past the glove of Dwayne Rolison. Minnesota owns the tiebreaker against Phoenix. And if Minnesota earns 2 points tonight in front of a sellout crowd, they will officially be a member of the NHL playoffs here in year 3, becoming just the 3rd expansion team since the expansion of the 90s to make the postseason in their 3rd year. Florida went to the finals in '96. San Jose made the playoffs in their 3rd season. Injured Wild defenseman Brad Bombardier has joined us up in the broadcast booth. Lubomir Sekeric brings it across the line, and Park gets the shot on net. There's Bouchard trying to hammer it home. Rebound in front, and Park couldn't finish. Brad Bombardier, I know you'd rather be on the ice and join it, but this has been a little fun to watch.
Oh, it's been great. Yeah, haven't got a whole lot of shots, but we've obviously capitalized on our chances. And great goal by Moose there. It's always nice to see Moose score. And then great goal by Zoe, standing out there in front all by himself. And, you know, a lot of patience there and a great goal.
What is it that allows this team to play so well against top teams with guys like Schneider on it?
Well, I don't know. I think our ability probably at the beginning of the year gave us a chance to kind of be in a lot of those games and play against the better teams. It kind of gave us that confidence. And we didn't have that confidence in the first couple of years, and now all of a sudden this year we were able to stay in some games early in the season and gave us that confidence to play against these great teams.
To get off to this good start against Detroit in a game in which the guys try to say, Brad, that, yeah, well, if we get it tonight, we do. If not, it's no big deal. Realistically, you want to get this officially in the books as soon as you can, and you want to do it in front of the hometown fans.
Absolutely. I mean, we've been dreaming for this this night for the 3 years that this team's been here. So the fact that we're in this position to be able to do this, especially in front of our great home fans, would be a great experience.
A statement made on Friday against Dallas, perhaps a statement made tonight against Detroit?
Perhaps, yeah. It's, you know.
Not arrogantly, just confidently.
No, yeah, just confidently. We feel that we can play against any team in the National Hockey League, and that's not a cocky statement. That's just confidence, and we feel that we can do that, and any given night we can beat any team in this league.
Brunette trying to stay on Brett Hall. Datsu. How's the back coming along?
It's coming good. It's gotten a lot better the last probably 7 or 8 days. Made some real good strides, so it's coming. You know, it's something that's frustrating, but it's just something that kind of popped up in Ottawa the night before the game. Went to bed, and my back started hurting. And get up the next day, and pretty good pain. But it'll get better. It's nothing that's going to really hurt the career, which is great. But it'll resolve itself, and I'll be back in there as soon as I can.
It's been a bit mysterious because it's not a ruptured disc. It's not displaced, but it's been sore and it's bulged a bit, right?
Yeah, it's so funny when you look at the MRI. You think that's actually causing all this problem. It's just a little disc out the back, just bulging just a little bit, and it's caused the nerve to inflame and you know, cause some pain in my back.
What a chance for Marion Gabrick a moment ago as Jimmy Dowd pumps it in. Lubomir Sekarash will touch, and the icing is called. Don't forget, fans, Wild single game tickets are on sale now at the XL Energy Center box office, the Hockey Lodge at the Mall of America, and at all Ticketmaster locations by phone. Call 651-989-5151 or log on to wild.com. Also, in the event that Minnesota wins tonight, Minnesota Wild playoff apparel will be available at the Hockey Lodge this evening and beginning tomorrow at the Mall of America. The printers have been busy, and Minnesota is set to return to the postseason for the first time since the North Stars last played against the Red Wings back in 1992, finally losing that Western Conference Series. The North Stars did to the Detroit Red Wings in Game 6. Before 13,177 fans at the Met Center, Detroit then went on to win the series 4-3, but the last playoff game played in the state of Minnesota, April 28, 1992. Brad Bombardier, this team playing with confidence, this team answering the critics, and the thing that Mike and you and I talked about a lot was don't have the sustained losing streaks, and you haven't done it all season long.
Yeah, we haven't done that, and that's obviously been the Achilles heel for us probably in the first 2 years. You know, we went on games where we didn't win games for 10, 12 games, or 10, 12 games last year, and that's tough. And that's going to hurt you in the standings. And this year, I think it's probably been, what, 3 games maybe? It's been
no more than 3.
No more than 3, so that's been huge for us. And that keeps you in races, that keeps you in playoff contention, and we're there right now.
Gabrick broke his stick. Marion Gabrick got off to that masterful start. The goals have not come as frequently here as of late, but the effort certainly has been there. And Gabrick with a pretty assist on the goal by Sergei Zholtok here in the second period. Wes Walz comes away with a loose puck. Walz had the game winner 90 seconds into the overtime session in Dallas the other night. How about the way this team's played in overtime after not winning a single game in overtime last year, Bomber?
I know, it's been crazy. We went from winning no games to winning. How many games did we win now?
That was 8 now.
Yeah,
8 the other night, right?
Yeah,
no, I think it's 7-1 and
7-1 and 9.
Yeah.
7-1 and 9.
And we just didn't tie a lot of those games last year. We lost quite a few of them. So to come back this year and win a lot of those games, it's been great. It's been great, and you know, you're able to get that extra point, which has been huge.
Mike and I have been talking about the fact that people wouldn't want to play you guys in the playoffs because you're such a disciplined team.
Yeah, a lot of people have been saying that. You never know. You run into teams like that, and hopefully we're one of those teams that they're going to have a hard time with whoever we play.
Bud Light, what's on tap in our second intermission as we join ourselves now with Brad Bombardier. Clay with Sergei Zholtok, the goal scorer here in the second NHL scoreboard. Second period highlights and stats all coming up in our second intermission. Our Bud Light, what's on tap. And in the event that Minnesota clinches a playoff spot tonight, you won't want to go anywhere. We will have extended post-game coverage from the Wild locker room, interviews, special guests, lots of talk about Minnesota if they hold on to defeat the Red Wings here tonight. But a long way to go. But it also should be noted that Minnesota a perfect record when leading after 40 minutes. And that record was certainly tested with the 2 Scott Young goals the other night by Dallas.
Yeah, it was the other night. My heart jumped a little bit when I was listening there watching that game. But you know, that's been a huge thing for us. In our first couple of years taking leads in the third period, we had a hard time holding on to those leads.
Especially last year, Bomber.
Yeah, and that was just inexperience, I think, by us. And now we have that experience, we have that confidence, we're able to do that, and we've been able to hold on to those leads, which has been a huge thing for us, especially going into the third periods, knowing that if you can get into the postseason, that you're going to be in a lot of those tight games coming into the third period.
Well, we talked about statistics and the fact that sometimes they don't mean anything, but I think you can agree that the fact that Jacques Lemaire inserts guys in different situations and rolls his lines has kept you guys healthy enough to be strong in that third period.
Yeah, that's the great thing about our system is everyone gets to play, or most everyone gets to play. You can play 4 lines at a lot of times, and that keeps your energy up and keeps guys healthy for the most part, not me included. But and that certainly, through over an 82-game schedule, is going to pay huge dividends for you, and it's done that for us.
Rolison with another save, just 30 seconds remaining here in the second period, joined by Wild defenseman Brad Bombardier. Hopefully, we'll be talking about him on the ice very soon. Wings play the Wild again on Tuesday from Joe Louis, and then Minnesota back here at home Wednesday against the St. Louis Blues. They lead these Detroit Red Wings 2-0. Penalty is going to be called by the referee. Scott Zelkin. Interference will be the initial indication.
You could read Zelkin's lips. He said, "That's a pick." And I think it was McCarty who stepped in and made the pick.
So it'll be the second power play of the night for Minnesota. Real quickly, Bomber, you were able to do it in New Jersey as you watch this penalty, but you weren't playing 20 minutes a night in New Jersey. Now you're going to be in the NHL playoffs with a lot of your teammates as front-runner type players, as players who are dependent upon. What's it going to be like for you and your teammates?
It's going to be a great experience. I mean, this is what you play for. And when we came here 3 years ago, we didn't know how quick it would be that we'd get the opportunity to play in the playoffs. And it being us being right on the doorstep tonight and knowing that we're going to have that opportunity, hopefully. I've got goosebumps right now thinking of that, and being able to be a big part of it. It's certainly exciting.
Could be a big celebration tonight. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, brother. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Brad Bombardier hopefully back on the ice here soon, putting things in perspective for us, as Sergei Zholtok will do with Clay here in our second intermission. Minnesota, 27 wins this year when leading after 40. If they hold on tonight, they make it to the postseason.
Can make it happen, yeah. We can make it happen. We can make it happen, yeah. We can make it happen. We can make it happen.
And it would happen in the 239th game of franchise history. The Minnesota Wild 27-0, 1-0 when leading after 40 minutes. And they were tested with the 2 Scott Young goals the other night against the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, I didn't know if they'd add a win to that. I thought they had a good chance of making that a tie, but they, again, surprised everyone. And hopefully they can hang on, because you know there's going to be an onslaught here by the Red Wings.
Clay Matvick.
I just talked to Wild goaltending coach Bob Mason, who was right in the locker room during this intermission. I asked him, was there any chatter in there from the guys about if we play hard for 20 minutes that we're headed to the postseason? He said not one word. From the Red Wings locker room, a lot of screaming and hollering going on, especially from guys like Shanahan and Hall. They got to get some more shots on net, according to those guys.
Well, I'll tell you what, it seems as if they're getting a ton of shots, but you know the difference between the shots and the quality shots.
Well, the thing is, Schneider, Lidstrom, and Shanahan are the only ones who have more than one shot. All of them have 3 shots each, but everyone else everyone else that has a shot only has 1 shot.
Power play to begin things here in the third period for Minnesota. Darren McCarty going off for interference late in the second period. On a night in which the University of Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs won college hockey championship number 3 amongst the women, defeating the Crimson of Harvard in double overtime. The Wild trying to make it a double dose of Minnesota fun this evening. Jim Dowd, down low, Brunette, Tried to feed it to Dupuis. He's pushed on the backside by Chris Draper.
It's going to be a great Minnesota weekend.
Oh, you got that right. 7 different players have scored a shorthanded goal this year for Detroit. Shanahan is one of them. Here's Sergei Fedorov. Gets it over towards Chelios. That was intercepted by Marian Gaborik. He'll wheel around. 38 seconds left in the minor penalty. Called against Darren McCarty. Here's Marian Gaborik into the offensive zone to Bouchard. Bouchard bounces it off the backboards to Richard Park. Kuba on the backhand. Slides it down low to Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Here is Gaborik. Shot gloved by Legacy.
Love that move by Gaborik because he was moving his feet and he was driving to the net. Those are things that will get you great chances and eventually great goals. Gaborik has started to really jump into the play a lot more. Look at that quick move and a nice shot there. Legacy had to be sharp because, again, Legacy is thinking, I got to move to my right, and if he moves too quick, he gives up too much.
Minnesota led 1-0 after 1. They lead 2-0 after 2. Shot in front. Oh, my. Sekarash broke in. Gaborik saw him. There's Park, and a save by Legacy. Lubomir Sekarash jumped in from the blue line, cranked it off the side of the empty net on another pretty feed by Marian Gaborik. Gaborik setting up the Zoltok goal here in the second period of play. 2 shots on the power play, no goals. Minnesota leads 2-0. Red Wings have been on fire. They've won 6 straight games, 9 of their last 10. They have 17 wins, just 1 loss in regulation, another loss in overtime in their last 19 games played. And they've reached 100 points in the standings for a 4th consecutive season and for the 8th time in the last 10 full seasons. Yet Minnesota trying to defeat them for the 2nd time this season here tonight.
Well, the turnaround came when they had back-to-back losses against Colorado. Sure, they had a 3-game winning streak after that, but they were against San Jose, Buffalo, and Atlanta. It was then when they lost at Vancouver in overtime after leading 3-0 that these guys snapped into it. And since then, as you mentioned, Mike, have only lost 1 in regulation.
Forecheck by Antti Laaksonen. He has played in every game in franchise history. This is 239th consecutive game with Minnesota, 244th consecutive game in the National Hockey League. The Iron Fin played on the near side boards by Robitaille. Jason Woolley fins on the shot. Boyd Devereaux in front, trying to redirect past Dwayne Rolison. Rolison getting the start tonight. 34 save performance by Manny Fernandez against the Dallas Stars on Friday. Wild defeating the Stars 3 of the 4 times those 2 teams met this year. Jason Woolley, the shot deflected off a stick in front, and Rolison will hold on. Minnesota had some chances back the other way.
Yes, they did. Gaborik had a good shot on the glove, and look at this backdoor play here. Sekarash right on the back door. That one did go off the post. You didn't see it, but then look at that shot by Park as he's getting dropped to the ice. So Gaborik, Sekarash, and then Park, all with great scoring chances.
Shot by Dandeneau. Pass saved by Dwayne Rolison. Rolison and Fernandez may very well both eclipse 20 wins this season. Already 20 wins for Rolison, 18 in holding for Manny Fernandez. He could very likely get the start on Tuesday at Joe Louis Arena when these 2 teams meet for the 4th and final time in the regular season. It's going to start to become a common phrase, Michael. As this could be a playoff preview here tonight at the XL Energy Center. Shot by Dandeneau, save. Rebound in front. Igor Larionov, the shot hit a few bodies and went wide. Here's Nick Lidstrom. Lidstrom sent it towards the net. Dandeneau still in deep. Dandeneau hammers Richard Park. Larionov trying to stay on Andre Zuzin. Young Andre Zuzin, I'm sure, looked up to Igor Larionov growing up in Russia. Here's Park. Park will feed it over to Philippe Kuba. Kuba. Remember, Kuba had the overtime game-winning goal against the Wings in season number 1. Jimmy Dow, the shot from the bad angle, and Legacy denies. Manny Legacy, winner of 5 straight games, and Detroit on a roll. And for Manny Legacy, unfortunately, on Lord Stanley's Cup last year, it was L-A-G-A-C-E. Why is that a problem? Because his name is spelled L-E-G-A-C-E. Jacques Blount was misspelled 5 times, Mike, and it's not Adam Deadmarch, it's Adam Deadmarsh. So those guys are part of a trivia question. How'd they spell your name?
N-O-T.
N/A, not applicable. Here's Mitchell. If my recollection is correct, all 11 times Lemaire's name has been spelled correctly. Bickoff, backhand, save, rebound, pushed aside. Mitchell will clear it out. Good save by Dwayne Rollison. Dmitry Bickoff jumping into the play. You know, he mentioned earlier, you speak of defenseman for Detroit, that Yuri Fisher skating again. He should be available for the playoffs, which would bolster this already talented blue line for the Red Wings as they try to defend their Stanley Cup championship of last year, their third in the last 6 seasons. Joltok ahead to Andrew Brunette. And gathered in by Kirk Maltby. Maltby had 4 shorthanded goals. All of them came early in the year. As I mentioned, 7 different players on Detroit with shorties this year. Here's Darren McCarty trying to walk past Souza. Couldn't get the shot away. Souza able to tie him up on his way towards the net. Brunette through center and dumps it down. Manny Legacy will hold it there. Matthew Schneider. Acquired at the deadline from the Los Angeles Kings for Matson Kuznetsov, Sean Avery, a first-round pick next year, and a second-round pick in 2004 from the Los Angeles Kings. Delayed penalty, and it's going to be another opportunity for the Wings to get right back in this. All right, here's your answer to tonight's Treasure Island Resort and Casino trivia question. Who holds the Wings an NHL record for assists in a single game? Billy Taylor did it way back in 1947. 7 assists on March 16th. Jeremy Stevenson in the box for the high stick. It will give the Red Wings their 5th power play of the night. Sergei Fedorov. Fedorov gets it across towards Brett Hall. Pavel Datsyuk, the back pass to Fedorov. Fedorov bursts through center. Fedorov keeps it there. Fedorov to the point and Nicholas Lidstrom. Lidstrom to Datsyuk. Datsyuk gathering it in on the near side boards. Here's Sergei Fedorov trying to drop it back to Hall. 29 points on the power play this year for Nick Lidstrom. 7 of those are goals. The lead pass to Fedorov again. Here's Pavel Datsyuk. Steve Yzerman not in the lineup tonight for Detroit. Not really playing back-to-back games since coming back from the knee surgery. We will see him on Tuesday night at Joe Louis Arena. Cliff Ronning battling the flu. He is out of the lineup for the first time this year for the Minnesota Wild. Pushed across towards Shanahan. Sekarash came in and closed the gap. Larionov had a stick knocked out of his hands. A broken stick on the ice, and Terry Gregson's going to whistle it down. We'll have a stoppage in play.
Well, rightfully so. The Minnesota Wild have been very aggressive this evening on the penalty kill. Positionally, they have been very good. They forced the puck, and the Red Wings have not been able to really set it up. They've had a couple good chances where they stepped out and made an individual effort, but as a unit, the Wings have not been able to really get some great scoring chances, any of the backdoor kind of plays that they're very good at, or any of those quick little passes with a shot on the tail end of it.
Given around and pushed out of the zone. Detroit Red Wings with the top power play in the National Hockey League. As we mentioned, it's been red hot as of late. Minnesota, though, defends very well, especially here at home. Robitaille tried to gain it across. Henriksen stepped into the lane. Robitaille gets it over to Lidstrom. Lidstrom to Brendan Shanahan. Shanahan on the far side, boards a shot into traffic. Saved by Rollison. Puck is still free. Robitaille couldn't finish. Schneider to Lidstrom. Shanahan again! And a glove save made by Dwayne Rollison. A big-time one-timer. A third try for Shanahan. And Rollison denies one more occasion. How about that trio of saves?
Wonder how much weight he's going to have lost after this game. Boy, he has been all over the place.
3 shots with that power play, all 3 off the stick of Brendan Shanahan.
Well, you watch what they do. They keep feeding that far side of the ice. Shanahan, then the rebound will come out to the point. As they scramble in front, they'll feed it back to Shanahan again. He'll one-time it once more, and it happens 3 times. They keep feeding that side of the ice because everyone's overloaded to the other side.
Well, how about this? The New Jersey Devils have allowed just 12 power play goals against on home ice. Minnesota tied for second best with another team that's headed to the playoffs this year, the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. 0 for 5 tonight, and Brendan Shanahan very angry with the call made against Luke Robitaille. He's going to serve the penalty for 20 men on the ice. Shanahan extremely angry in the face of Scott Zelkin, but it will not matter. And Minnesota will have their third power play of the night. Given to Kuba. Bench minor called against the wing. Minnesota 0 for 2 tonight on the power play with 7 shots. Jimmy Dowd gets it into the zone. Dowd, Gabrick, and Brunette. Kuba and Zoltar. If you joined us late, Matt Johnson scored just 21 seconds into the game, the fastest goal in Minnesota Wild history. 5 seconds faster than Nielsen did it in year 1. A bad turnover in front of the net, and Kirk Maltby almost had his team leading 5th shorthanded goal of the year.
Well, it was a kind of turnover that really scares coaches and players. Rolison had to be sharp. Tries to go cross-ice, fans on it a little bit, and right there, he tried to go upstairs on Rolison, but Rolison did a tremendous job of following him in light of the fact that it probably surprised him a little bit too.
Maltby, as I mentioned, had those 4 shorthanded goals very early in the year. Detroit tied for second best in the NHL with 10 shorthanded goals for this season. 7 different players scoring when the other team has had the man advantage, as I mentioned. Fedorov will bring it out of the zone with speed. Sergei Fedorov, the shot off the stick handle of Dwayne Rolison. Maltby the only one with multiple shorthanded goals this season. So 6 other guys have 1.
Very aggressive penalty kill here by the Wings, right?
Well, they're also looking at a deficit with 10 minutes left. Dupuis back the other way across the line. And again, with this lineup, they always seem aggressive, don't they? Hey! Big drive, shot, save, rebound! Mitchell tried to jump on it. Good save by Manny Legacy. His 5-game winning streak is in jeopardy. The Minnesota Wild are 13-7-2 since the All-Star break. Dowd comes through the neutral ice area. Jim Dowd drives behind the net. Leaves it on the backhand to Schultz. Down to Andrew Brunette. Lidstrom closes in. Dandino on Gabrick, and Legacy will freeze.
Detroit's a puck control team, so when they get that puck, it's quite often hard to take it away from them. Once you do, the Wild are able to hem them in a little bit in the offensive zone on this power play with only 5 seconds left. But you know, you got guys like Lidstrom out there, some pretty solid defensive players in their own right. Maltby, of course, known for that. Can really slow you down.
And I'm trying to think what you would say Hull is. Good setup, man, maybe. All right, I guess a goal scorer. 712 in his career. 5 shy of Phil Esposito for 4th all-time in NHL history, but so far no wing has scored tonight. Well, during that break, Mike, Darren McCarty was talking to one of the linesmen saying, hey, how about a distinction in how this too many men on the ice rule is called? Well, he may get one, but it's going to be after the game, and last time I checked, Robitaille had to serve the entire 2 minutes, so.
Can't give that back.
No, you can't. Don't forget, operators standing by, 651-222-WILD. Wild Warming House, $100 deposit. Get your season tickets locked up. We're expecting over 19,000 here at the XL Energy Center for the rest of the season and for the playoffs. Minnesota will officially be in if they hold on and win here tonight. 9 minutes and 21 seconds remains. The Wings trying to defeat the defending Stanley Cup champions, who ironically were the first team to defeat Minnesota this season, as Datsuk forces the turnover in the neutral ice area. Zetterberg to Brett Hall. Hall, the quick shot, saved by Rolison. And out of the zone comes Zoltar. And that same Detroit Red Wings franchise, who ironically were involved in the last playoff game here in the state of Minnesota. The North Stars taking on the Wings in '92. Lariana poked off his stick by Nick Schultz. He slides it across to Chelios. Saucered up to Schneider. Stick save made by Rolison. Many have said Matthew Schneider, Mike, is now the 2nd best defenseman in a Red Wing uniform after, of course, the 2-time Norris Trophy Award winner, Nicholas Lidstrom.
First time European winner of the Conn Smythe last year, too.
Down to get it is Robitaille. Anxious moments here. Of course, it is all but conclusive with 7 minutes remaining after tonight, but it'd be fun to do it at home. It'd be fun to do it by winning and not by another team losing, and it'd be wonderful to do it against the Stanley Cup champions. Boyd Devereaux, shot deflects off the leg of Andre Zuzin. This is a Red Wing team that has been on fire offensively, and they've been shut down so far here tonight. They have been piling up the offensive numbers, scoring 5 or more goals 9 times in their last 15 games played.
They're averaging over 4 a game in that span too, Mike.
A 19-game winning streak, 4.34 goals a night. And that is offense. Of course, it's helped Curtis Joseph's record. He'll play on Tuesday, as will Yzerman. Bouchard across the line. We hope as well will run it. And Zuzin threads it down. Legacy will hold behind the net. Not surprising to see Legacy tonight. Dave Lewis trying to keep Curtis Joseph in the zone that he has been in, and he has been in a great zone, winning 10 of his last 11 starts. Chelios, 2 Stanley Cups for Chelios, 86 with Montreal, last year with Detroit. Near side, Sergei Fedorov. Fedorov ahead to Nicholas Lidstrom, taken off his stick by Wes Walz, who once wore a Red Wing uniform. Woolley over to the near side, and Henrik Zetterberg. Zetterberg, a leap pass to Shanahan, quick shot. And the save made by Rolison.
Rolison keeps standing up tall. He knows he has back checkers. He comes out strong, makes a save, and the Minnesota Wild aren't giving any second chances in this game.
Don't forget, if the Wild hold on to win, playoff apparel available at the Hockey Lodge beginning this evening here at the rink and beginning tomorrow at the Mall of America. Kuba gives it over to Johnson. And Johnson will thread it ahead. Johnson waits and pushes it in, avoids the icing. No, he throws it into the bench area. Clay Matvick.
Gentlemen, I'm here with Dana Hendrickson, the wife of Darby, of course, the only native Minnesotan on the Minnesota Wild roster. And what has this season been like for you? I know it's been difficult with the injury, but could be going to the playoffs, could clinch tonight.
Oh, it would make it all the while worth it. It would be so exciting if we could go to the playoffs, and if we win, we go. So it's exciting.
Is it extra special for him because he's from here?
Oh, totally. It's so great. The fans are electric tonight because we're playing Detroit and we're winning, and everybody's excited. So it's so nice, and it's so nice to be home and be able to do this home at where we're from and with our family and all of our friends.
Dana, thank you so much.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Mike and Mike.
Thank you very much, Clay. Dana Hendrickson understands what hockey in the state of Minnesota is about. She dates a hockey player who played here in the state of Minnesota. Good body check. McCarty was there. Rolison
took a slash.
Yeah, he sure did, and a hard one. His blocker went flying. He's showing the veteran referee, Terry Gregson, his finger. He took a big slash. The blocker and the stick goes flying. They'll sort things out. We'll be back.
Watch the slash on the hand right here. Remember, Rolison flips his hand underneath, flips the stick over. Therefore, the underneath part of his hand on the blocker is exposed. And so the slash on the finger, but no call there.
Chris Draper was in on the play, and the offside is called. 5:27 remains. Doug Risebrough not making a single significant move at the trade deadline. These players have gotten this team here, and these players are going to be the ones to carry them into the postseason.
You got to love that. That's what you call loyalty. It's also what you call planning, because Riseborough's also said that they're going to do this the right way, and that is long term. Once they get in, they want to stay in year after year.
High stick into the face of Wes Walz. That was Sergei Fedorov. If he's cut, it's 4.
Well, Wes Walz says that he may be his own worst enemy when it comes to getting high stick, because when he sees that a player is going to lift his stick, he moves his because he does not want to give up the puck. So what happens? Whack, he gets it right in the face, whereas a lot of guys will just press down on their stick so that you can't lift it up. So he admits that he's his own worst enemy there, and he's been smacked in the face a few times this year.
So it right now is a 2-minute minor against Sergei Fedorov, as Wes Walz a key component to this year's success. High sticking against Fedorov at 14:46 of the period. Andrew Brunette on the ice on this power play. Zoltak, Dowd, Zuzin, and Lubomir Sekarash. Hall staying strong on Brunette on the far side boards. Threaded down low to Zoltok. Chelios caught up to him. Lidstrom clears it aside. Sekerash keeps it in. Brunette to Zoltok. Back over to Dowd. The shot was blocked by Chelios. Here's Sergei Zoltok. Andre Zuzin behind the net to Andrew Brunette. Lubomir Sekerash slides it. 4 minutes, 31 seconds remain. Puck in front of the net. Saved by the stick handle of Manny Legacy. Let's go back to September when Andrew Brunette was asked about the possibility of making the playoffs.
That's that's a real tough question. A lot of things have to go right for us to compete for that spot, and I think we're fooling ourselves sometimes with our exhibition record. I mean, we haven't played the teams we have played haven't had their best players in there. I mean, it's a great feeling. I'd rather win these than lose these games, but I don't think we can set our hopes too high.
Well, you know what? They set them just high enough, Mike, and they were the only team in the NHL to go undefeated in the exhibition season. And I remember the day you and I were standing outside the Wild locker room and we asked Jacques Lemaire, what does the preseason mean? And surprisingly, he said, it means everything right now. I want to win every game of the preseason. We started to think, well, why is that so important? He said, because I wanted the mindset for our players to expect to win instead of hope to win.
Well, winning is a learned trait, and Jacques Lemaire knows that. So if you get them winning at some point, they'll remember how to win. I mean, it takes hard work, it takes good positional hockey, it takes big plays by certain players, and they've done that all year long.
Well, Matthew Schneider looked as if he was going to be flagged for delay of game, closing his hand on the puck with 4 minutes and 1 second remaining. They're going to call actually the penalty on Manny Legacy. Shot the nut puck directly into the stands, into the netting.
Pointing at the dasher, saying that he may have caught a piece of it as he was firing it up there, but I don't think he's going to get the reprieve.
So with 4:01 remaining and a 2-goal lead, it's a 5-on-3 for the next 47 seconds for Minnesota. Dandino is in the box, serving the 2-minute minor. Delay of game against Manny Legacy. They're going to drop it again between Maltby and Dowd to the left side of Manny Legacy. Jacques Lemaire, the Hall of Fame head coach, signing an extension this year along with the coaching staff. And well-deserved. He is certainly a candidate for Coach of the Year. Driving right to the net was Andrew Brunette, and Manny Legacy holds on. Kirk Maltby and Jimmy Dowd have really been jawing here in the last 10 minutes or so.
Well, it's been something that's been going on all game with a lot of the guys, and Detroit, they're setting things up for a couple days from now already.
Maybe a couple of weeks from now as well.
Yeah, you never know.
Zoltok gets it quickly back from Bouchard. Lubomir Sekerash on the near side. Sekerash waits and holds. Sergei Zoltok, Lubomir Sekerash. Sekerash to Zoltok. Shot just wide. Jim Dowd has it. Dowd to Sekerash. Sekerash waits and holds. Sekerash to Dowd. Dowd to Sekerash to Dowd. Fed down to Zoltok, in front to Brunette, knocked down by Lidstrom, held on to by Manny Legacy. Good puck movement, 8 seconds left on the 5-on-3.
Good puck movement, but the key, the body movement. The guy's shifting around. Watch him change places a couple times. Then there's Zoltok, comes down low, tries to go back door. It's too sharp of an angle, and Brunette bobbled the puck just long enough so that Legacy could get over. But the thought process, that's what you want to see, and it's good out there.
Face-off win for Minnesota. First man about to come out of the box, that's Sergei Fedorov. 3:13 remains. Dupuis shot saved by Legacy.
Continually to chew up that clock. A few penalties here by Detroit has given them Wild some opportunities. Here, this one didn't get all of it. It was a floater, and Legacy got that one as it dipped. Could have been a deflection too, but I don't think they got their stick on the puck.
Dupuis trying to win the draw, controlled by Fedorov and company. 5-on-4, 1 minute and 2 seconds left in the penalty called against the goaltender Manny Legacy for delay of game. Park on the forecheck, gloved in neutral ice by Zuzin. He keeps it himself. And Sergei Fedorov has it. Mike Goldberg, Mike Greenlake, Clay Matvick, our crew from Fox Sports Net, here tonight at the XL Energy Center. 239th game in franchise history, and it may be one of the most memorable ever if the Wild hold on for the next 233. Across the line, Gabrick, and a pad save made by Legacy. Lubomir Sekarash has it. Power play for another 20 seconds now. Dwayne Rollison has been magnificent here tonight, and what a season it has been for Dwayne Rollison. Played on the far side, boards by Sekarash. Matthew Schneider up to Brett Hall and cleared out. Zetterberg will chase. Spun down the length of the ice by Kuba. This will be an icing as Dandino touches. We heard Andrew Brunette's thoughts months ago. What about Dwayne Rollison when asked about the postseason?
We got to take it upon ourselves to be ready for every game, and hopefully that at the end of the season we can say we're in the 6th, 7th, or 8th spot and we're in the playoff position.
Well, they are, and I still think they're going to finish 6th.
You got to like the way Rollison said 6th, 7th, or 8th. So he said, we're going to make the playoffs. If we do make the playoffs, we're being realistic that it'll likely be in one of those positions.
The net is empty with 1:45 remaining in a 2-goal lead. Loxonen has it, empty net. He scores! Antti Loxonen scores in the empty net, and Minnesota leads 3-0. Let the party begin. The Minnesota Wild will officially make tonight the night of history. They are headed to the NHL playoffs for the first time.
Well, here's a look at it. Loxonen's so good at this. You like the defensive players like this in a situation like this because they read the play so well. Knocked the puck down, got it. Frustration on the Red Wings' faces, but tell you what, the Wild deserve this. They've earned this. Shanahan getting tossed.
Shanny's been
vocal.
2-10. He's been vocal since the opening minute of the game. Right after Matt Johnson scored 21 seconds in. Johnson in the first, 21 seconds into the game. A franchise fastest goal. 8:36 into the second. Sergei Sholtok, his 15th of the season from Gabrick and Schultz, and now into the empty net. Antti Loxonen, his 14th of the year. 1:41 remains. It is 3-0 Minnesota.
Assistant number 37, Wes Walls. Time of the goal, 18-19.
Walls will get the lone assist.
Loxonen for Walls at
18-19 will be the official time of the empty net goal. Susans gives it to Walls. Shanahan done with the 2-10. 1:19 remains. Walls will leave it back. Given over to Marian Gabrick, and it's offside against Minnesota.
Well, Draper tricky there. He pushed Sekarash over the line just as he was trying to straddle it to give Gabrick that extra split second he needed. But Draper, one of the better defensive forwards in the National Hockey League, maybe the epitome of a good defensive forward, gets away with one there on Sekarash, who was busting down the middle.
1 minute remaining in the third period.
Sent out of the zone by Schneider. Wings have been shut out twice here in 2003. Once by Martin Brodeur, the other time by Patrick Waugh. They're 38 seconds away from being shut out by Dwayne Rollison. Behind the net, puck is in front now. Schultz leaves it off to Brunette. 25 seconds remains. To the point in Kuba. Kuba towards down. He scores! A power play goal for Jimmy Dowd on the deflection. It's And I was just thinking the Wild were going to win without the benefit of a power play goal, but put that in the books.
Nice deflection. Look at Dowd right in the slot. He'll come right in here and just tip it. And actually, I think that may have gotten Stevenson as well. It may be Stevenson's goal. Nevertheless, it's a great reaction by the bench. 4-0. That may have been another double tipper. We've seen that so many times in the last couple of weeks.
That's the Dowd and Brunette move.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, let's count it down. 10 seconds remains. They are on their feet here in St. Paul. 5 seconds remains. It is official. The Minnesota Wild, here in year 3, are headed to the National Hockey League playoffs. Fourth shutout of the year for Dwayne Roloson, 11th of his career. Minnesota does it at home. They do it by beating the Stanley Cup champions.
They certainly do it in style. In front of their home fans, though, that means so much to these guys. They wanted to be the ones to make it happen. They didn't want to back into it. And now they have their first Stanley Cup playoff berth. The Minnesota Wild, an amazing team this year. You don't find chemistry on teams like this every year, and you certainly have to take advantage of it when it happens.
The wait for the great hockey fans of Minnesota is finally over. A decade without playoff hockey here in the best state in the universe for hockey fans. And now the wait is over. Now it's no longer if or when, it's who and where do they open. And it might be in Detroit's Joe Louis Arena. We have extended live post-game coverage here tonight from the XL Energy Center. Clay Matvick is downstairs. We are set to stay with you as the celebration can become official. No longer is it not apropos to use the P word. The playoffs are a reality. Minnesota defeats Detroit 4-0. Much more ahead here live on Fox Sports Net. Net coverage will be headed to the postseason, but a couple of weeks away. For my partners Clay Matvick and Mike Greenlay, Mike Goldberg saying so long from St. Paul, where the Wild make it to the playoffs for the first time in franchise history as they shut out the Detroit Red Wings 4-0. The Wild return to Fox Sports Net Tuesday night from Joe Louis Arena when they conclude this home-and-home series with the Red Wings. Live coverage from Detroit begins Tuesday at 6:30. We will see you then.